2, 3.
Hi, I'm Ron with Dirt Bike Magazine, and it's dual sports season here in Southern California. We're happy enough to have the Beta 350 RRS, which is one of our favorite dual sport bikes. We're gonna go riding. Up front, you gotta understand that the Beta 350 RRS is one of 4 identical-looking Beta dual sport bikes. They often leave riders confused. The 350, 390, 430, and 500 are all great machines, but have different personalities. People ask why Beta doesn't thin down the herd. They say it's like deciding between your kids. The 350 has the same chassis and most of the same motor parts as the others. It differs only in bore and stroke. The suspension is by Sachs and the brakes are Nissin. The Beta also offers traction control and 2 different maps on a little switch in front of the fuel tank. This is a little unusual for a dual sport bike because EFI maps have to be government approved, so they're usually locked and tamper-proof. The Beta is also a little louder than most dual sport bikes. Maybe it would be better to say that it's a little less quiet. When it comes to noise and emissions, Beta can operate much closer to the edge than big companies like Honda or KTM. The 350 RRS has a bunch of nice standard features, including handguards, a radiator fan, and fold-up mirrors. Best of all, it comes with a Trailtech Voyager GPS. The bike's not cheap. The MSRP is $11,499, but that is at least less than any of the dual sport bikes from Austria. On our scale, it weighs 253 pounds without fuel. We put Metzeler MC360 tires on our test bike after we wore out the stockers. The original Michelins certainly weren't bad compared to most OE dual sport tires, but the Metzlers are more aggressive and offer a clear upgrade for off-road riding, which is what we want to do. You have to understand that this is an off-road bike. It's not for commuting to school or work. It's not an adventure bike either. There are less expensive bikes for that kind of work. On the other end of the spectrum, it's no race bike. The power is respectable, but not in the same league as a 350 or even a 250 motocross bike. There are certain compromises that have to be made for the sake of emissions. Having said that, we're delighted that the Beta runs so well. It doesn't cough, sputter, pop, overheat, or stall the way most EPA-legal dual sport bikes do. The Beta runs smoothly down low without any issues at all and quickly climbs to a respectable mid-range. After that, it continues to rev, although not too much is happening. That kind of power is ideal for trail riding, especially in tight technical terrain. It has just enough torque down low, plus it gives you the option of downshifting and letting her rev. In more wide open spaces, it does run out of steam fairly quickly. A 350 dual sport bike just doesn't have the displacement for that kind of riding. It's the nature of the beast. Likewise, it isn't quite right for long stints on the highway. It's not an especially comfortable bike. The seat is hard, the tank is wide, and it vibrates at high RPM. Plus, unless you balance the wheels, it bounces at certain speeds. The Beta does have a fairly spread out riding position. It's a little on the tall side and gives you the feeling that you're sitting on top of the bike rather than down in it. The suspension is soft, of course, which is appropriate for a dual sport bike. It's excellent in rocks and on low-speed technical trails. When you get into deep whoops, though, it's quickly overwhelmed and prone to quick chassis movement. To go over a few random notes, the Beta's Nissan brakes are powerful but a little bit grabby. The hydraulic clutch has a super easy pull, and we love the push-button seat removal. Bike always starts easily, but if the battery does go flat, you can get to the battery easily and give it a jump. It has no Kickstarter, but there is a provision for one. Most other bikes don't have that anymore. It's impossible to provide a meaningful fuel range because no two rides and no two riders will have the same results. We can only report that the Beta's 2.4-gallon tank made it to the end of a 60-mile trail ride, all on single track. The fuel light came on around mile 50. The Beta's mirrors fold up and tuck out of the way, but be forewarned that the hinge is plastic and that can break. So can the license plate bracket, which is very bouncy. On the other hand, we love the Voyager GPS on the Beta. We wish all dual sport bikes had this. We know that dual sport enthusiasts are all about modification and personalization. The great thing about this bike is that you don't have to do anything. It's one of the only dual sport bikes that you can take on any ride, anywhere, in completely stock form. Yes, it sells for a lot, but it doesn't ask you to spend a dime more. Look for more on the 2023 Beta 350 RRS at dirtbikemagazine.com and in the print edition of Dirt Bike, which is on newsstands everywhere. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.